Welcome to another episode of the Bitter Jury Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Westhoff, and tonight, as we do every Thursday night, we'll be recapping all of the events from this week of the Big Brother 25 season. This is a special night. We had a double eviction on hand, and despite an hour of drama, and I know some of us on the podcast tonight had adrenaline rushing through their veins, but we kind of ended up right back where we started. So we'll dive into all the details of how the night progressed. But first, let me introduce my co-host tonight. First, I'll start with my sister, Sarah. Sarah, you and I were texting throughout this episode, and I know you have thoughts and feelings. So how are you doing tonight? How are you feeling about how the day played out, the night played out? Don't spoil too much, though, because Charles hasn't seen everything yet, so we'll kind of do that as we go along on the podcast. But how are you doing?
I feel like we manifested the results that were going to happen tonight with only them to be squandered in the end.
That is a great way to put it. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let me go next to you, Richard. You've always got quite the opinion. So let me just dig in there. How do you feel about how things shook out tonight? Are you excited about what's coming up? Are you relieved, annoyed? How are you feeling?
I'll let Charles go soon. All I'm going to say is that my light's about to go dark real quick. So
I like that. That is a reoccurring theme on this pod. Well, as I introduce our final host for the night, I want to get an authentic reaction to the biggest surprise of the Big Brother 25 season so far. I think we all agree it is Julie Chen's haircut tonight. Charles, please look at your screen and tell me what you think about the biggest surprise of the
night. I'm somewhat speechless just because I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
It's a nice way to put it.
It's very, I feel as if, I maybe shouldn't say this, but I feel as if Julie Chen were on Friends as a reoccurring cast member, that this is the hairdo that she would have had.
Oh my gosh, Jen Aniston. It's you.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. Thanks for sharing. I loved that I was driving and my phone is just blowing up with text, and that was the most interesting thing that came across it. So,
well, it's become sort of a tradition here in this new season of the podcast that on these Thursday night recaps, we kind of retell the story of the night's Charles, who seems to never be able to watch the episode live with us. So we will kind of recap how the episode played out tonight and kind of reveal to Charles how it played out and get his reaction as we go along. So let's just dive right in and start with the simplest news of the night, and that is that Cameron was evicted from the house 8-0. There were no votes to keep Cameron. This is our 6th, 7th unanimous vote of the season. Not a lot of drama here. Sarah, were you excited to see Cameron go? I know it's not exactly like he's gone, but was there any scenario that you saw when watching the live feeds this week where you thought America was at all in danger?
No, honestly, this week was a pretty straightforward week. I will say that I do feel like we're getting out some of the most interesting players right at the front end of the season. So I do worry that we're not going to have any fun at the back end. Although Cameron has some inner work to do when he gets out of this house, when it comes to how he speaks to women, and just in general. He was kind of a funny person to watch, just be isolated and not care whatsoever. I think like the episode on Sunday and Wednesday with his showing everything that went down. I mean, it was kind of hilarious watching him. So not that I'll miss him, but those big brother, big presence are kind of nice to have in the house just to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, well, the first surprise of the night that besides Julie's Bob that really threw us off our game was we saw Cameron come out of the house, say goodbye to everybody, walks out, sits down to do his interview with Julie, and instead of cutting to commercial break, Julie comes in and says, "Hey, Cameron, usually I'd be asking you questions tonight." I don't know, maybe she said this to Jared later, but basically she kept it short and sweet. She didn't ask him any questions. She said, "Hey, you are not out of this game quite yet. We'll give you more details later." Richard, your reaction when you heard that there'd be a twist that maybe Cameron's not gone, where did your mind go? And what did you think about what the twist might be? Because we still don't really know right now.
Well, I'm not surprised given that I've been on BB Twitter a lot, but if I wasn't on Twitter, I'd be surprised.
I saw real quick to cut in. I saw what you texted us from. Was it Mike Bloom that tweeted out there's no exit interviews tonight? Was that your bat signal in the air? Like, oh, something's up? Because I saw that too. And I was like, maybe it's because they thought Jared, Cam, they both got kind of issues. So I didn't really take it to heart, but you did text us that, kind of calling it out like, hey, there's a twist coming.
No, but to me, it means some sort of twist, some sort of battle back, which is what I kind of assumed. So I guess everything kind of fit my expectations. I'm not the most thrilled that of all the people in the house, this is who, if anybody's got to come back, it's one of these two. I literally texted one of my friends, I really hope someone that I like goes home so that they can send Cameron's butt packing, but it is what it is. We'll have to deal with another week of one of them. So whatever. It is what it is.
All right, so we've got Cameron now evicted from the house, but kind of set to the side. He's not out completely. And now we're starting our double eviction. Charles, you don't know the details of tonight, so coming into this a bit blind, who would you have been rooting for to win HOH of this double eviction? What would have made the most interesting night from your perspective?
Gosh, and I kind of like this question because it's just me speculating. I mean, obviously, I would have loved for America to win, just because she's kind of my solo person that I'm cheering for on my draft team. I do like her in general as the season has gone. Plus, my hatred for Jared, I would love to see something like that. But then, truthfully, because I feel like Blue has gotten what she's wanted out of Jared, I think it would also be interesting to see if she ended up winning HOH.
Well, it was an interesting competition. It was one of those. I mean, I was actually surprised. It was another knockout competition. So you are up against one-on-one against someone. Some sort of question is played in front of you. Winner stays, loser goes, and you pick the next two up. Or I get sort of like that. This version was next person in line comes up and they pick their opponent. So the way it played out, we saw Suri targeted a lot. She was brought up 3 times in a row before she lost the competition.
Oh, wow.
The final 3 of the competition were Corey, Mimi, and Blue. Do you have any guesses, Charles, from that final 3 who won the competition?
Corey, Mimi, Blue.
Let me also paint a little more of the picture here for you. The competition was 2 dating profiles for zombies were put up on the screen. So you got to see what they like, what they don't like. And then there were pictures of the contestants below of who they could date. And then it would say, I don't like cats. And in the picture, the person might be holding a cat. So you'd eliminate that picture. And it was first to ring in A, B, or C. I thought this, and real quick, Charles, before you make your guess, I kind of want to ask you, Richard, I thought this was kind of a hard competition. Like, I struggled to play along with it. There was a lot of information on the screen to digest and then have to go look at pictures that weren't like simple. There was a lot going on and a lot of information. And I didn't really know what was the best strategy. Did you find a strategy? Sorry, Charles, to ask you a question.
No.
We'll come back to your real quick. What did you think of the competition itself? Did you think it was as difficult as I thought it was?
I found it kind of easy, but what
was your strategy?
The thing is, as someone who studied the game, I think about this kind of crap. It was honestly just read the likes and then see which one fits, because it's a lot easier to look for 3 things than looking for two profiles that fit what they don't like. It's a lot easier to look at what they like and see which one fits. That's when the one that I'm not gonna spoil somebody, like I think the second to last round, there was one where like multiple of them.
It was like I likes music, and it was like headphones, but someone else was DJing or something.
Exactly. There was multiple ones where it fit the likes. It was a matter that two of them had dislikes and one of them had just likes. So that one kind of tripped me up. And that one I was like the only one where I like stumbled a little bit. But yeah, in my opinion, it was just easier to look at likes and then see what matches. Just because for the first few rounds up until that final 3, it was all only one person fit likes. But no, I thought it was fun. I thought it was an interesting way to do it. Because we've seen stuff in the past. And I also think it was smart to not do you pick the next two people up, because we saw that a bajillion times. And then you had like somebody that wouldn't play at all until like the final 3. So I like that you had that rotating line. So everybody had to go.
Actually, yeah, I didn't actually think about the mechanics of it, but that is the twist of it, that it made every person play. Even if you weren't picked, you still were in a line that got closer to being in the front of it. So yeah, no, I agree with you there. All
Except
right,
for Sari, who's just stayed at the back of the line.
All right, Charles. So Blue, Mimi, Corey, do you have a guess? Or I guess not even a guess.
No,
who do you want out of those 3?
Truthfully, out of those 3, I would want Corey, just because I feel as if Mimi's useless and Blue is also useless. So thinking about that, but I'm trying to think. My heart says Corey, but I'm also trying to think that I feel a competition like this would be good for Mimi and kind of what her skill set is, and I'm going to go on a limb though, and I'm going to say that Blue won.
I need to get a sound effect button in here. And for next episode, I'll have some sound effects ready. But wrong. You should have stuck with your heart. Corey did win. He beat me in the final pairing. And he rang in. So he actively won the last 2 rounds, didn't have someone else come in, ring it, and then lose. So just wanted to put that on top, is he did actually, because there's a lot of talk about Jared saying Corey in America can't win anything. So it's kind of nice.
Right.
Corey showed he won something here. Go ahead, Richard.
Did Corey win all of his rounds, or did Sari make a mistake? I think Sari made a mistake.
Sari made a mistake.
Yeah. So Sari took out both Matt and Jag, and then lost to Corey.
After they picked her.
They both picked her. That's the thing. All 3 of them picked her in a row.
That was something revealing in the competition. I think if that competition hadn't been played, Matt to Sari is an ally. So Matt kind of showed his cards to Sari that by picking her to say like, oh, maybe there's a little more drama, or like maybe he's not totally on my side like she was assuming he was. Go ahead and finish your thought, Richard.
I was going to say, is there a world where they pick her just because they think that she's going to save Jared, and they're specifically targeting Jared? Like, I know
That's
that
exactly what it was.
And like, not to, if we can move like 5 seconds forward, like Corey starts having like one-on-ones with everybody, and with Matt, Jag, and FBJ, he's every single time it's like Jared's a target, Sari's next. It was like what he told Blue was he's going to put Jared and her. If that stays, Jared's the target. They put up Jared and Sari. Sari goes. So I'm confused where Sari's like target level is right now.
So, Sarah, just to throw it to you, do you want to explain the state of the house and what Sari's target level is, or do you want do you know enough about it, or you want me to go into it from the live feeds?
Yeah, I mean, with Sari, I think, Felicia and Mimi are rounding back to her, but I think her herself probably feels completely alone in the house. I was watching her specifically during the live episode, and I could just see it all over her mom face, that she was just like, wow. I don't know if she's ever felt more alone in a game that she's played on reality television before. She has lost two of her closest allies, like back to back. So, not to spoil anything for you, Charles, but we'll continue to the veto.
Real quick before we get to the veto, because I kind of want to lay out the state of the house a little bit. Can you guys hear this in the background, by the way, when I do that?
Yes.
Are you guys picking up that audio?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to pull up a graphic so I get the players right. All right, I've got it now. So state of the house and who's targeting Suri and knows about her, how dangerous she is. So Felicia and Mimi are completely eyes wide open to Suri now. Last week was like a eye-opening experience. They thought that Suri was way on their side. Obviously, Felicia, when she found out that they were voting out Izzy over her, that flipped her completely. And she and Mimi this week have formed a final two together, and basically, everything's still soft. It's all quick. Nothing's permanent right now. No cement, but they are heavily leaning towards teaming up with Corey in America. Like, even like I know that they're sort of coming back and softening their harshness towards Suri and Jared, but even 2 days ago, Mimi and Felicia were targeting Jared and Suri. Not so much Mimi, but definitely Felicia. Blue was at the beginning of the week actively targeting Jared and Suri. Now she obviously, because she's hooking up with Jared, she's softened that to where she's not targeting them, but she's also not like straight up targeting the people Jared and Suri would be targeting as well. She's not on their team. She's playing more in the middle. She would target like a Bowie. And then you've got Bowie who's doing nothing because FPJ. Matt and Jag are the other two. They, because of last week, I'll never get over that face, Charles. But because of all that stuff last Thursday where we were all watching the live feeds, and especially because of the way Jared treated Matt, that really got Matt anti-Jared. Now, it's not that they're anti-Suri, but outside of Cameron, who just lives in a fantasy world and doesn't understand anything in the house, everyone else knows that Suri and Jared, they don't know that they're mother-son, but they all know that they're a tight duo. Now,
I mean, not to cut you off, but this is a note from earlier in the week. Like, even watching Jared win his HOH and watching Suri do backflips and launching herself, I'm like, who's going to sit here and not realize that they're like, that reaction is literally like one of blood, right? That
wrong. Wrong.
No, but like
I'm saying Cameron is the person who sees that and is like, wrong.
right. But it's
no,
like,
because he's expecting Felicia to do those leaps and bounds.
Yeah. But it's like you see that reaction, and you, of course, we've seen over the years people get excited over somebody that they're aligned with winning. But I mean, that was on a whole another level, and it's like, okay, Suri, like, you've done so well up to this point, but now you're literally showing your hand. Like, anyway, go ahead.
So no, that's just basically the state of the house is everybody now knows Jared and Suri are a tight duo, except for Cameron, but he's irrelevant because he got evicted. And so there's no secrets here. Like, that's why, like, during that competition, everyone was going for Suri, not even because they wanted to target Suri, it's because they wanted to get Jared out and they knew she wouldn't target Jared. So just wanted to lay that state of the house out there. So now roll forward. Corey makes his nominations. It is Blue and Jared. Now, as we went to commercial break, he was discussing with Jag and then to Bowie, like, hey, I'm thinking Blue and Jared, but as a backup, if one comes down, Suri goes up. So that was like Corey's thinking as we get into a veto competition.
Now, Blue promised Corey that if she won veto, she would not take Jared down if Corey kept her off the block. But
is that what she
Corey, said? Yes.
Okay.
So
real quick, tell me, did I hear this wrong? Was this on the conversation right before commercial?
Yes.
All right. Maybe I misheard it. I heard it as she would not target Jag, and that didn't make sense to me. I was like, how would you target Jag? You're not empowered.
No. So Corey basically said, I'm thinking about putting up you and Jared because I'm afraid that if you win veto, you're going to take Jared down. And Blue paused for a second. And she said, okay, how about you put up Sari and Jared, and I promise I won't use the veto on him.
Okay.
And Corey said, okay, I can trust you. I'll trust you. I'll trust you. And then he had a conversation with Jag and he said, who should I put up, Sari and Jared or Blue and Jared? And I'm pretty sure Jag said Sari and Jared. And Corey was like, okay, well, we'll just go with whatever the house says. He ended up putting up Blue and Jared, which was good for us because we all kind of love Sari. But not so great for Blue. And I think that Corey Corey probably lost a little bit of trust in Blue in that moment, I'm sure.
Why would anybody trust Blue, though? That's what Blue is a wild card, but that's for a different podcast. So.
Yeah.
We come back from commercial break.
We'll throw it over to Pooch.
All right, so we come back from commercial break, and it's time for the veto competition. During the break, selected to join the nominees in the HOH in the competition were Matt, Jag, and Mimi. Was Mimi the sixth?
Let me double check. Yeah,
Sarah,
I think so.
Sarah, is that a confirmation from you?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so that was our six. It was Corey, Jared, Blue, Matt, Jag, Mimi, and it's the same ball competition we see every double eviction. You run in, there's buried something in a pit of balls, and you have to bring 3 or 4 of them back to the finish line and then hit your buzzer. Let's just go, Charles. I'm having fun with this game. You've heard the 6 that we're playing, and you know the competition. It's that ball competition. Who had the best chance? Who won this competition? Give us a guess.
I'm gonna put Corey there. And you said Matt played? Is that right?
Yep. Matt, Jag, Mimi, Corey, Blue, Jared.
I'm going Corey or Matt.
Okay. Well, you chose the first place and the last place finisher.
Jeez, I am so off in my guesses today.
Corey, he had the right strategy as a BB super fan. The strategy is find them all first, then run back and forth and deliver them. But he never even left the ball pit. Our winner, Corey, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So our winner was Matt. And I thought Matt really showed his cards here. He hadn't been dominating in any of his competitions so far. I mean, I'm not watching the episodes that closely, so correct me if I'm wrong there. But Sarah,
didn't you have to hear for like half of them? Like
that's true.
They weren't very fair to him.
Poor guy.
They weren't very fair.
Had an audible element that he may have struggled with, but he really came out. He came out guns blazing this one, didn't he, Sarah?
Listen, Matt came out completely dominating this competition. There was going to be no other winner other than Matt.
No, Jag had 3 of them, 2 or 3 on there.
When Matt went to put his third, Jag was putting in his second.
Yeah.
So, and Jag was second. Jag came in second place. So, like,
I was listening to Rob and Asia say tonight that they believe that Matt had an advantage in the competition because he's a swimmer.
He's got that swimming
in those ball pits gave him such an advantage, apparently. So, but Matt did dominate in this competition. And I did tell Daniel, I think Matt showed his cards in this competition for the very first time in the game. I know that he's had struggles with production and being able to hear and understand what's going on in certain competitions. But when it comes to his level of physical gameplay, he definitely showed out tonight. Like if he were in a final 3, no one would stand a chance.
And now that Cameron and Jared are gone, like I texted Sarah, I go, is he about to steamroll to the end of the season now? Like he's going to be anything that he goes up against Felicia in, like I'm not even watching that episode.
If Jared and Cameron really work on, then he probably would. He probably would.
I mean, not every competition is going to be physical, but like
But
we're
still,
all
he's
super
not.
fans here. Like 80% of them might be.
Yeah. Well, and he's not an idiot either, right? Like,
Yeah.
like he's, I, will bite on my own tongue from making fun of like the pretty jock people from, the start of the season. But I mean, Matt is definitely one of my top favorite people now. And, I've said this the past several weeks on here. Matt's in a pretty fucking good position to win this game. So,
dare I say the best in the house right now? I think so.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean,
I say
honestly
Matt's in the
think,
best position. Corey's in second.
yeah, I think both of them are deserving of the win. We'll see.
All right.
It would make my year if Zach went home first and his brother won. It would make my year.
I'd rather have Matt as a winner, but I think it would be cool to have Matt as a winner.
Yeah. Well, we've got a few weeks to figure out how that plays out. So, but let's roll this forward now. Matt is our veto winner. Did you guys pick up on any interesting tidbits in the, right before commercial break? Was there any, I'm trying to remember, who ran into the room with Matt?
Suri walked the very front first because I think she had hoped to have a conversation with Matt first. But because everyone followed behind her so slowly, I think she lost that opportunity right away. And I also think Suri also didn't know what was going to happen during this double eviction. She truly did not know what was coming next. If you watched her live, you'll see that she's like, okay, what's going on next? They're evicting someone right now. Oh, I'm voting right now.
Oh, really?
And then after the whole episode, you just see her sitting in the chair like, are we going to play another HOH tonight?
She did say that. So, Richard, as our Survivor correspondent on this podcast, how much of a shock to Suri's system was this double eviction for her? Is there anything comparable?
I thought this would be good for her just because this fast-paced nature of like everything that's supposed to happen in a whole week is about to happen in an hour. I thought this was way better for her because she's used to having one day to kick someone out, not 7 days. And we've talked about this before. I thought this was going to be good for her because this is more the speed that she's used to. It just turned out to be bad. And I think that's a matter of she got used to over the last 4 or 5 weeks. She's gotten used to having so much time and really over exaggerating and continuously flipping again, which we've talked about before, continuously flipping and having all the time to make decisions. And then now she has to make decisions in 700 times less time. So I thought it'd be good for her, but it turned out to not be, like you said. I mean, she was kind of checked out.
Yeah.
I think again, without her right-hand woman, Izzy, I think she feels lost. I do. I think if Izzy were there during the double eviction, she would have it totally put together because her and Izzy would be snapping back and forth of what this. She has no one to bounce ideas off of except for her son, who just spoils them to everyone else around the house.
I think, though, in the long run, losing Izzy and Jared in the long run is going to be better for her game because her target level has dropped since her two biggest allies and the two people that the entire house looks at as she's glued to the hip with these two are now gone. So now she's alone. So either she's a free agent to be picked up as a number or she's the easiest person to kick out of the house, probably besides FBJ.
Well, I haven't seen the body language that you all are talking about, but just thinking and listening to this and from what I have watched from this week prior to tonight, I would be so drained if I were Suri and Jared were my son, right? And I feel as if maybe this is the first time that we got to see, feeds or in just the hour that we see in each episode. This is the first time that she's really had to endure the blunt of his just utter stupidity. And it's the mom side of her is combating with the game side of her and is still trying to protect her baby, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm sure in the back of her mind she's thinking my child's an idiot, and just going back to that whole argument and all this stuff. Even then, you watch Suri and she's just sitting there like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Why are we having this conversation?
Yeah.
I need to know what's going on. And I mean, it sounds like that just really hit her tonight with that going on. So I can't wait to see that play out.
Well, and I want to put this hypothetical out there right now because it's a perfect opportunity. We don't know how the rest of this week will play out, but we do know that some players are coming back in the house. And how juicy would it be to watch, especially related to this conversation, if, say, Blue goes to Suri sometime in the next hour or two and it's like, hey, Suri, I know your secret. Jared told me everything. And then Jared walks back in the house in a couple hours and Suri's like, boy, get over here. I'm about to smack you or something. Like, I would just live for that drama.
Just to recap for you, Charles, Matt did not choose to use the power of veto. So Blue and Jared stayed on the block. And in the end, it was almost a unanimous vote, except for Suri was the only vote for her to keep Jared, as obviously she could never vote her son.
She struggled.
She struggled.
Yeah, she was in the diary room, and I think she intended, if this ever happened, to cover her alliance with Jared and vote him out. And she sat in the chair and was like, and she said to the camera, I can't do it. And she voted out Blue. So she was the only vote, 6-1. Jared was evicted from the house.
Can I just say, in my opinion, Matt and Jag are stupid. Like, they should have voted for Blue. They should have voted for Blue. It would have, like, literally, everyone else is voting Jared, so it would be a 4-3. You cause chaos, as we know Charles would love to see some more chaos.
You lose
it causes chaos for those who stuck to the plan. Like, they're all asking who flipped, and then Matt and Jack can go and play it loyal to Suri and take in a number.
Matt had already showed his cards in that competition by picking Suri. So you'd be causing chaos. You'd be creating enemies out of Corey and America. Suri may not take you back. And now you're just the two of you.
But there's a way for you to play it off. You could, if you're mad, you can go, I didn't know that they were going to pick Suri after.
He did do that by saying he even told Corey, I'm going to say it's a house thing. We're just going with the house for Jared. So I think he'll go to Suri now and say, look, the house is already going this way. You can still trust me though, right? Like, I think that's the angle Matt will still try and play the middle somehow.
Yeah, and listen, like Suri is on like a lone island. Like Matt and Jag are not about to take up for her. And Richard, you would know more than me because I'm not the biggest Survivor fan. I do know Suri is a legend on Survivor, but fill me in. Has Suri truly ever been alone in a reality TV show, competition show, like she has been now? Or has she always had allies that have lifted her up to now? Because
traitors.
To me, it looks like this is the first time Suri has ever been alone on a reality.
Yes and no. Traitors.
Aren't you like
traitors? She was a traitor, but she had allies that were faithfuls, which means she couldn't talk game. Because if she talked game, she'd have to lie, right?
I watched the premiere episode of season 1, so I know a little bit of what you're talking about, but please elaborate a little more. I
apologize for the spoilers in advance, Westoff.
No, you're good.
But her fellow traitors, like the other traitors on that season, they all sucked. Like Cody was awful. Whoever like the Joe Schmo off the street, like the average like contestant was.
So how's Dan Giesling gonna do?
They sucked. And then they got another traitor added, the Bachelor Ari. He became a traitor. Yeah, he sucked too. So like Suri honestly had to like carry on that role pretty much on her own. Like as much as she had like other traitors, it's not like they did anything. Ari quit. So like,
but I'll two things there. I do want to pause for a second and dig into that for 2 minutes. But real quick. The difference between the traitor scenario and the Big Brother scenario is that in the traitor scenario, she might have been alone, but she wasn't targeted by everybody because she was still hidden as a traitor. In this house, she is alone, and there are no. Everyone is like she's exposed. There are people aiming at her. Versus in the traitors, they were still trying to find, is she a traitor? So I'll give it to
Sarah that this is the first time that it's this extreme. When it comes to Survivor, I'm looking at like every single season that she's played, and there's always been somebody. The last time there have been moments where like she goes into a tribal council and she has no allies, but she's not the target. Like, remember the last time she played Survivor, she went home without a single vote. So she was not a threat. She was projected to probably win that season because of how good of a social game she played. So like this is the first time that she's probably been targeted this heavily. Like obviously she had to go home before, but like at that point she still had either alliance members or like, for in some situations it was like final 4 or final 3 and the other people left were her core alliance. So to your point, it's the first time it's been this bad.
Being a mom, I have like this sixth sense of like seeing other moms, and in those moments on the show, I was like, man, she looks like she feels alone.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Here's my 2-minute timeout. Richard, this is your moment if you want to speak on it. Do you have a reaction to the Traitors Season 2 cast reveal?
Oh my God. How on earth did you get Dan Giesling to do reality TV again?
I mean, and Janelle.
It's fucking Dan Giesling. Oh, wait, Janelle.
Janelle's on there.
Dan Giesling.
Peppermint from Drag Race. The dude from the challenge.
I didn't see that one.
I think I might watch Traitors too.
Yeah, Johnny Bananas from the challenge.
That was a big one. That was a big one for me.
Yeah.
I love Johnny Bananas.
Yeah, it's a good cast. So
if I'm not mistaken, Sandra Diaz Twine is playing.
Yes,
who, for those of you who don't know, for the first 39 seasons of the show, was known as the Queen. Only woman that has won and first person to win Survivor twice. There's only 2 people that have won the show twice. Herself and a guy named Tony.
What about this?
T's on this season.
Parvati Shallow. Who's that?
Huh?
Parvati Shallow. Who's that?
Oh my God, they got
Look
Parvati.
At his face.
In my opinion, hold on. In my opinion, Parvati should be the one that has won twice. I'm one of the people that does not like Sandra as much as like, or at least like I like Sandra. I don't think she's as good as people say she is. Sandra sucks at challenges. Like they named the sit out bench on the show the Sandra sit out bench. Because she just sucks at physical challenges. Parvati, in my opinion, should have won the show twice. They were both Sandra and Parvati were final 3 on Heroes versus Villains. In my opinion, Parvati should have won. Sandra won because she played a better social game. And like she's good at social and strategic. Very excited for Sandra. Very excited for Parvati.
Guys, I think we just found our. I think we just found our follow-up podcast when the season of Big Brother ends. I think we're doing a Traitors 2 podcast.
I didn't think that I would ever see Dan Giesling on our TV screens anymore.
I don't think anybody did.
No.
Johnny Bananas is great. TT's great. They chose really great people from Love Island. Peppermint's great. She's been on a whole tear of reality shows recently.
Are you talking about Ekin-Su from Love Island UK? She's on Traitors.
Love Island.
You are lying to me right now.
Right, we're 100% doing this.
Sarah, did you watch the most recent US season of Love Island?
No, I haven't.
Because there's someone off of there too.
Most recent US.
Because there's someone off of there too.
No, I need to get Peacock again.
But this is a good
Paramount.
cast.
Paramount. You can watch Love Island USA on Paramount.
Is that not how? I thought this was all Paramount.
No.
Show.
Paramount is the UK. No, that's Hulu.
Hulu is UK.
Peacock is the American. Peacock's the American.
I'll take your opinion.
It might be Paramount Plus. Who knows? But what surprises me is that this is an all like celebrity / reality TV show season. The first season was half reality TV, half average people that just audition like any other show.
Yeah.
What I kind of liked this because like everybody kind of comes down an even playing field, whereas like last season, like reality TV people didn't know what the average people were gonna like, what like the what, like the regular people were gonna do.
It's a power dynamic there,
and like regular contestants didn't like kind of, if they were a reality fan, kind of had a basis of understanding how the other side plays. So I like that this is kind of more even. Please tell me that UK Parliament is not a show and they got an actual British Parliament member to do a reality show.
That would be great. All right, I'm gonna reel us back in here. That was our 5 minutes on Traitors. So we officially
and
will
it
now
will
be doing
continue after the cameras stop rolling.
We will be doing a Traitors 2 season podcast. You can guarantee that. But all right, back to Big Brother.
What is that? Is that on Peacock?
The Traitors?
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was watching on.
I think it's on Peacock. Damn.
It's all right. I'll split account with everybody so we can do the pods. It's a lot easier than getting a VPN to watch.
Exactly.
So, which I still, by the way, daily Google when will BB Canada 10 be available for download because Sarah has to see it. So I've been talking about it for years. My favorite season of Big Brother.
I only watched the US.
The only thing I know. Awesome.
The only thing I know about the Canadian one is oh my god, what's her name? Oh my god,
Summer.
Ika.
And Ika is BB Canada 10. That was my favorite season of Big Brother ever. So one day we will do a recap. Awesome. Yeah, maybe it was just because it was Charles and I breaking the seal, doing our first podcast ever. But it was a great.
Or maybe that's what we do. We rewatch
the rewatchables.
We know everything, but we get Richard and Sarah.
I just got really excited we were doing this.
No, I want a Survivor podcast. Okay,
yeah,
I want
to
do
that
podcast.
Too. That's right. We found our core now.
Starts
we'll
next week.
From here.
Let's do a draft. It starts next week.
Bring that up after the episode. We'll consider it. Table the motion. Let's move on.
Table the motion. Get out of here.
I live with Gruskin. Politics is in our DNA. So, all right. So Matt does not use the veto. Real quick before the actual eviction itself, I thought it was interesting to note when we came back for our final commercial break for the eviction, Matt, Sari, and maybe Mimi, somebody, it took them an extra like 3 minutes to get to their seats. I think what that implies is Sari was shocked that Jared was such a sure target. It was like trying her best to work, like, can I save Jared last minute? And this, like, you could tell, like, she came flabbergasted, like, there's nothing I can do, it's for sure. So just kind of wanted to note that it was basically a unanimous vote. Sari did vote to evict Blue, obviously, but everyone else voted to evict Jared. And I was going to do a count in my head, but I forget what evictee he is. So Jared does leave the house, and I want to note, no shoes on. He was in his socks. He went out to meet Julie in socks only. So,
he took his mic off. He's
trying to grab America's bag. He's like, "Oh, I'll grab my bag." He's like, and Sari was like, "That's not your bag, Jared." She's like, "We'll pack your bag for you."
You know, I told Daniel as this episode was going that when Jared's in trouble, he looks like a true puppy dog. He really does.
He did make me feel a little bad for him. I was like, oh, poor Jared.
So innocent and sad. I mean, the boy can put on a teddy bear face, I swear. I mean, I can tell. He knows how to put on a pretty face.
That's the mom in you, feeling a little bit of empathy towards Sari.
Oh, my baby boy.
All right, but for the biggest news of the night. Wait. Are you raising your hand, Richard? Is that
I think he is.
Sorry, he is. Teacher Daniel calling on Richard.
The damn pre-vote speeches. Blues pissed me off as it always does. Jared actually like tried to throw together like a semi like understandable speech. Blue just got up and goes, "Yeah, everything he said, but cuter and better. I still have more outfits left. Let me wear them." Thank you.
Kitty,
What?
kitty.
I
purr.
wanted to scream,
As
but I was in
Kitty,
class.
kitty, purr.
Kitty,
I
kitty,
was
kitty, kitty,
mad.
purr. Let's go.
Loved
Did she say it? Did she say it?
I was
I don't remember.
mad.
I
tuned her
loved
out.
it.
Every
Every
time
moment.
that girl speaks in like a speech like that, I get a text like from my friends like, is this girl actually playing the game or is she just here for the followers? Like,
For the
Well,
clout.
she's there for the followers.
I love that she's targeting Jared, and if he doesn't come back, she better be the next out that door. Please. It's starting to annoy me. Like, I liked Blue at the start. It's starting to annoy me.
All right, biggest news of
Just
the
now
night.
starting to annoy you.
So,
Well, it's been, but we're getting to the point where like I actually want her gone. Like it
So
used to
Jared
be enough where I'm
walks
like I
out.
could survive her for another week.
Jared walks out Mikeless, you know, and I'm in my head
Oh,
I'm in
hold
my
on,
head
hold on.
freaking out like production.
You
I
didn't catch
okay,
that?
hold on, Sarah. That didn't even click in my brain until just now. I remember Jared had a handheld mic after the commercial break.
It's because when Jared
In his
was
anger,
leaving,
he just
when
chucked
Jared
his
was
mic
leaving the
back.
house, he was like, "Oh, I guess I don't need this mic," and put his mic back on the side and tried to grab America's bag. And as he's walking out, I'm
He was
having
so
this
flustered.
internal panic attack because I know production is freaking out and Julie's freaking out, and Julie's pissed on the inside because she's like, "Jared, why did you take off your mic? Now someone has to deliver one to you, a handheld." And sure enough, they cut to Blue crying and hugging Sari and everyone being like, wow, that was rough. And then it cuts back to Jared with a hand. Like,
Hold on. Everyone's saying that's rough. And Sari going, do we have to play HOH tonight? Poor Sari.
I will say
Sarah,
the
Sarah
poor
just
woman's
put a
used to
Charles
having,
disappearing act.
she's used to having at least a day before having to do another comp. So
Yeah.
So, anyways, Jared walks out and sits in the seat next to Julie. Production cuts. He gets a handheld mic, and Julie says, "Cameron, can you come out and join us?" And Cameron walks out, and Julie says, "You guys are zombies for the week."
Hold on.
can we quickly cut in and
Wait,
make and, like,
wait.
note-
Hold
can
on. No.
Let me
No, I
let me
think Sarah,
replay.
Sarah, I need you to reappear. Sarah, I need you to reappear. Okay. And repeat that last little sequence that you just said.
Julie Chen, with her new bob, said, "Jared and Cameron, looks like you're zombies for the week. Welcome back."
Well,
Hold on,
Jared looks
can
like
I
a zombie.
can I
And
interject
Jared
that like
stood up and did a
when Cameron walked out, the one thing he had to say to Jared was, "I told you so."
It's like, that's such a Cameron move.
I told you they were all coming after you, didn't I? Didn't I? I
Jared's like,
told you
"Yes,
they were
sure
coming
did."
after you, didn't I? And Jared is like, "Shut the fuck up, Cameron. I cannot stand your face right now." And Julie Chen is like, "Welcome back. In a couple hours, you will re-enter the BB house as a zombie player. But there will be no HOH this week, no veto. And at the end of the week, one of you two, guess what? Guess what, Charles? One of you two will resurrect back to your Big Brother life."
And then she caps all that off with, the only thing scarier than this twist is our schedule for this week. Sundays at 10 o'clock. There is no Wednesday, and Thursdays at 9. It's like, all right, we're just going to have a crazy week of BB.
And then,
no
and
HOH,
then,
no veto, no Wednesday episode. What is coming?
Whoa.
and then
they're
you come
both
back
going
to
in.
Sari going, "Wait, do we have to play HOH?"
Oh my god.
Oh, so they're both going back in?
yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can so if we can explain, I think
Richard, break it down for us, and then we'll get Charles's reaction.
the theory is that it's similar to Camp Comeback from 21, where they get to hang out in the house and just kind of exist. questions are gonna come up like, are they gonna have their own room where they have to watch everything on a TV, or do they actually get to like, go into the house and like live like normal house guests would? Maybe they're gonna have some caveat with like they have to walk around like a zombie from place to place or whatever. Who
Maybe
knows?
they can't talk or something.
Yeah, or they can just like mumble or something stupid. But like the point is, they'll still be in the house, and then is it next Thursday's episode that is the battle back?
Bowie Jane zombie.
We don't know how they're going to come back in the house. Will it be a house vote?
Yeah.
Will it be a competition?
Or an America vote?
One theory was the America vote. So like, just a general poll that the fans can vote who they want back in.
Now, I think if it's a house vote, what do you guys think? Because I would consider that they would vote Cameron back in, other than
what world?
In Jared having Suri, because Cameron walks back in single.
And then they can immediately get rid of him again. Right? He's not.
Whereas
tethered
Jared
to anyone.
backs in and is back in with Suri. So if Suri wins, then Jared's safe, and then it's back to fighting the Suri Jared duo.
That'll be a real test of Suri's ability to sway a house to get her own decision.
Personally, I'd like Cameron to come back just because chaos. And also just because I think it's better. I think it's better for Suri's good.
Dude, to me, Jared is the Joker. Like, he just wants chaos.
Yeah. I think it's a better game. I think it's better for Suri's game if Cameron comes back. She gets to stay in the house longer, continue to build relationships. If Jared comes back, she will become target number 1 again. And God forbid Jared goes up and wins veto or some crap. Then guess what happens? She goes home. So it's better for her, for Cameron to go home. Lord knows that Jared's going to run his mouth and get her evicted. But I'm curious what you guys think. Who you guys would prefer?
I mean, I'm already on record. I prefer Cameron to come back. I just don't like Jared in general. I kind of am just like, his whole personality turns me off, as does Cameron a little bit. But like, now that like Riley is out of the house and like he's being a little less creepy, he stopped with the America stuff, and I just kind of like that. Again, he's the Joker. He's just like lighting fires everywhere. He's like, my games are, I'm not winning this game, so let's just cause havoc. And as I finish this point, let me ask, who wore the bob better, Julie or Cameron? I'm showing it on screen. Cameron's hair from today is as he straightened it.
I mean, Cameron kind of looks like Charles.
Why did he not wear that at the eviction?
Charles Manson, right?
Yeah. But again, I just
match Julie.
I think I've decided I just don't like Julie's. I feel as if it's like a Friends meets like
anime or something.
The Brady Bunch meets. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm sorry, Julie.
Literally, like, I don't even know, like, what is like the 80s are calling, like,
it's a Friend's mom cut, okay?
Yeah, it's a very Twiggy. Yeah, she reminds me of Twiggy. Sorry, I don't know if you know who Twiggy is, but anyway.
I personally would prefer Cameron as well, just because as much as I haven't liked a lot of the comments Cameron has said this season, I do think he is funnier in general than Jared. I think Jared kind of carries a negative chaos that comes with him.
Good point.
Which all of that can just be unhealthy. And I think Cameron carries a crazy chaos where, like, he's a vet and he's wild and he just kind of owns who he is. And like, as much
to the point that he guilt trips.
Yeah, as much as like he also needs to work on himself and how he handles himself in front of people, I think his energy is just a little bit lighter to have in the house than Jared's.
And let me add one point before I ask your opinion on it, Charles. I also I want to see Suri by herself. Like, I'm tired of seeing Suri with her children. She lost 2 children back to back now. Only one more child in the house.
Izzy, I miss Izzy.
I was so excited tonight, even in that like 30 seconds at the very end of the show, to just be like, what is Suri doing now that she's by herself? I kind of just want to see her like game out.
I would much prefer watch Suri play this game on her own. I wish there was no Jared. I wish it was someone else, because you actually get to watch Suri play Suri's game. Because she's been playing for Jared, because Lord knows he's been running his mouth, so she's been bailing him out every week. Like, she doesn't get to play her game.
Yep. Charles, your opinion?
My opinion, I have two comments. One, I agree. Cameron, for me, I haven't watched the feeds as much as you all have. So the creepy things and the, for lack of a better word to use, I guess, angst toward him, like, I don't feel that way. Because, again, I like people who choose to go in and are going to be loud. Again, Evil Dick is my favorite player of all time in this game. And he's loud, and he is in your face, and he is causing a ruckus. And it's a game, so get over it. So if you're a little oddball or if you're a little contentious, it's a fucking game. Like, go win your money, get out of there, deuces. I'll see you while I'm fucking living it up in Maui, right? So I would love to see Cameron come back for that reason, just because I just, to Daniel's point, outright do not like Jared. I do think, though, and I'm going to say this, but then I can't follow it up with any information, like any factual information. I always feel as if, as a fan, when there is someone that I hate, like, drastically in the house, or that I feel that the world wants to see out of the house, that a battle back happens. Like, every time a battle back happens, someone gets evicted that I am so happy to see fucking get gone. And then it's like, oh, cool, we're magically coming up with a battle back twist this time, and we can put this person back in here. Like, do you all feel as if that's happened before? Because like, every time for me it does.
Yeah.
I would say
Charles, how'd you feel about Victor getting, coming back in the house 3 times?
Yeah, like, and again, I didn't have as ill will toward Victor at that moment in time, but it was like, get him the fuck out of here. Like,
the third time, I loved Victor, but the third time he came back, I was hoping he'd go home.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The only time it happened that I didn't want it to happen, or the only time it didn't happen that I wanted it to happen, was when Danny walked out that house in All-Star season. And I was like, Danny, no, during the triple eviction. It was horrible.
I mean, I haven't hated the doubles. The battle backs. Like, Scotty, I liked. Victor, I liked. Cliff, I liked. But I feel like this season, it's just like, every time there's a twist, it has saved someone. I'm like, Jag, get out of here. You're the worst player I've ever seen. Like, Jared and Cameron, both players, I'm like, go home, fix yourselves, like, be better men. So I think this season specifically, I am like, all right, no twist. Let's just send these guys home and play with who's left.
Jag is the worst player you've seen on a season with Mimi and FBJ.
Yeah,
yes, I agree.
All of the information in front of him and actively does not do anything with it.
So does Mimi. What has she done in the last 2 weeks?
No,
I disagree.
No. Mimi
and
FBJ. FBJ is not playing.
FBJ has not done anything.
Jag has been like, all right, you were evicted 10-0 and got to stay, and then immediately was like, okay, I'll just do the same thing again. I think that works just fine.
Listen, Jag has had all the information always. Let's be honest. He knew Matt won the power competition. He knew he used it on Jag. Jag didn't use that information. Jag's had plenty of information from Blue to roll around the house. He's had plenty of information to save himself on the very week he got evicted, and he did not use it. No, I don't think I love Jag as a person.
Like, I think
as a person, I think as a person, Jag is like the most honorable person. Like he's definitely.
Oh, I want to be friends with Jag for sure, but
For
I
sure.
do not want to play with him.
I would definitely love being friends with Jag. However, playing this game with him would not lead me any further, nor has it led anyone else any further when they're
Well, the
working.
three names that we've mentioned so far, Jag, Mimi, and FBJ, I'd love to play with them just because I could string them along till Final Four and then just win.
Yeah, that's true.
It's an auto win. It's an auto win. You're right. Jag hasn't done too much with the information he has, but I would much prefer like a player that like has some potential than two people that have not done fuck all, honestly.
But I think that's
Like-
part of the problem with Jag, though, right? All of us, including Poot, like we have spoken such big things about Jag from day one, and it has just gotten worse and worse and worse. So, like at this point, potential is irrelevant. I don't care what your potential is because you're not doing any. And again, I want to like him. He's not even on my fucking draft team, and I'm sitting here saying, Jag, you are a fucking badass. You could be a badass.
And as the person,
Jag could be a Matt
Like
in this competition,
person-
but he's not.
nothing.
as the
Being a
person
Matt.
whose team Jag is on, I would like him to finally freaking do something because I'd like to have picked the winner of this season, but now it looks like damn Sarah did. Okay, so
I'll tell you, I'm
it's
good
either-
at my picks. I'm good at my picks. Every
the thing is,
season, I
I
tell
would
you.
I would like Corey to win, but let's be realistic. Matt's got the best position, and Jag, I agree with Sarah. Jag could be there, but I think that's more entertaining than FBJ, who hasn't.
No,
I mean, I guess, like, I guess
Jag
FBJ is
could
just
have
fun,
been
like-
there.
And he still can be if he starts to do something. I know it's late, but better late than never. Like,
True.
Jag could do something like,
Guys,
I'd love to see him vote Matt out.
Guys,
I think he's gonna
anything
turn
is
into-
possible. Josh has won this game before, so
I
anything is
think-
possible.
I think it's very fitting that Jag and Matt love the Hitmen because I think Jag's going to be the Cody Calafiore to Matt's Derek, where Jag blindly takes the better player to the end in an act of loyalty when he
Okay.
could have taken like a GOAT like Mimi or FBJ and won much more easily because at least Jag had information and like had power and won comps. And FBJ has just sat there with the same dumbass grin that Charles makes fun of
Wait,
every
you
week.
need me to do it? Hold on.
No,
Yes, please.
no more. All right. On this note,
Thank you for proving my point, Charles.
here's how
Thank
we're
you.
going to wrap the pod tonight. So, yesterday they officially had the halfway point celebration party. They got a cake, they got alcohol, they got everything. So now that we are halfway through Big Brother 25, we're going to make our prediction. Who do you think wins the game? And then also use this opportunity to wrap up any other points we might have missed tonight about anything that happened in this week 9 of the season. Richard, I will start with you since I usually send it last to you. So, Richard, anything we missed from tonight, and please give me your BB25 winner based on who's left in the game.
Are we saying what I want or what I think?
Think. But you
I'll
can throw
throw-
in wants if you
I
want.
will
as
throw
well.
want in there just because I'd like it on record that I am also like this person is also in mind. Want Corey, think Matt.
Ditto.
I think Matt's in a very good spot. He doesn't have too many enemies right now. He's in the good grace of a lot of people. Could save things with Sari, and even if he doesn't, he has a very easy way of getting her out because it's not going to be hard to convince the house to get rid of her. With that said, I think Corey's also in a good spot. Obviously, he has America. It's dangerous that they're both in duos. That's always dangerous. But they're in duos where like Matt and Corey are the better situated people socially. So it would be fairly easy to drop the other one. I don't know. Want Corey, think Matt.
I like it. Sarah, anything we missed from tonight, and who's your pick?
Well, I can't wait to see the live feeds go up. I hope that we don't have to wait days. I'm praying that we actually get them back tonight.
You and me are going to be there 1 a.m. Like, please come on, please come on.
Charles, get ready for a 2 a.m. text. The feeds aren't on yet.
I can't wait.
Are you implying that maybe this is an off week and they're just like, oh, since we're not doing a Wednesday episode, Sunday's a recap, we're just going to take the week off?
I just think that they might hold feeds until Sunday night until we actually see Jared and Cameron in there. I hope that they don't, because maybe they're just getting Jared and Cameron ready in like costume, kind of like how the camp comeback was. But yeah, I really hope we don't miss out on all that intro of them both walking back in. I would love to see the chaos. But I'm obviously manifesting Matt to win the season. He is my first pick on my roster this year, and I believe obviously he's been my best pick so far. I just think that he's playing a good game right now. I think that he has put himself in a good position. I think that he's made a couple mistakes this week. But I hope that he just rides medium the whole way through and takes out the win. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for a win.
All right, Charles, who's your pick, and anything else you want to touch on before we end this pod tonight?
Pick to win. Again, I hate to say it, but I've started saying it a few weeks ago. Matt is just in a really, really great spot at this point. Again, I feel as if not even consciously people are choosing not to target him, and he is just true. He has proven to be a super, super tough competitor. I think that socially he's just in a really great spot. I'm going to say she's on my team. I would still love to see America win. She ruffled a few feathers here and there, but she's not really done anything terrible. She's also proven that she can compete. She hasn't won anything outright, but she's been in there a couple of times. I think people also know that if you let her get to that top 6 spot, then she is going to become even more of a threat. Looking at her, having conversations with Corey, the transformation that she's brought to Corey, even, she's aware, right? She's aware of everything that's going on. And I think that if people choose to leave her, then she's going to be even more dangerous and become a threat.
It's funny you say that, because tonight I did have winter vibes on America. I was like, if she plays this right, she could end up in a position to where she's fighting for a final 2 spot. As of now, in her showmance, in her duo, so to speak, she is the bottom target. Corey would definitely be the person that people would target first over her at this point, I think. Previously, in previous weeks, I think people would have targeted America over Corey. But because Corey's gotten his hands into some arguments, into some play, into some HOHs, into some things like that, I think he's gotten more blood on his hands. So I do think that Corey is more of a threat at this point, where America can a little bit fly under the radar. I hate to say this, but because she's such a super fan, I do root for her a little bit. I don't love how she says how iconic things are, because I'm the type of person to where if I'm in front of someone, or if I'm on a big thing, I don't outwardly acknowledge how iconic it is. I hold it on the inside a little bit. But I do love her.
I'm in the Josh Martinez school of thought, where if you're a super fan, shut the hell up and act like you know nothing.
Yes.
But I think personally, if America wants her best shot at winning, you cut Corey as a big move. And then you try to sit next to FBJ or Mimi.
Well, let me throw in a little bit of extra fodder to this America fire we're kindling right now. She and Blue did have a conversation yesterday. They formed an alliance. They call it Sirens, and they both promised to take out their significant other. And neither one of them has ratted that out in over 24 hours, which is rare, especially for Blue. But America didn't tell Corey about it, which is also kind of rare. So maybe she's doing something.
But here's my thing. I think she's playing Blue. I think she's trying to play Blue because I don't think America likes Corey too much in comparison to Blue's feelings towards Jared.
No.
Like, America likes Corey too much to, like, completely do that. Whereas Blue is just so over and tired of Jared. Because Jared's been a jerk.
But Richard, this is the night that I've disagreed with you very most.
It had to come at some point, Sarah.
Any other season or any other episode that we've done, and it's because there is no way in hell America takes Corey to the final two. There is no way in hell.
No, I agree with that.
She'd be dumb.
I literally just said that if she wants to win, she needs to sit next to not Corey or not one of them.
Yeah, well, she's at least
she'd take Blue.
She's doing some things, giving herself some agency, which we didn't exactly see. She's doing things outside of AmeriCorey, or as Blue calls it, Cormerica, which is way worse. All right.
Rock the world. Blue came up with something stupid. Wow.
That was my one extra fun fact for my closing segment, was just that Blue in America thing. My pick for winner, I'm going to go against the grain a little bit. Everyone's choosing Matt. I'm going to go Suri. I think Matt takes Suri and Suri wins. So
I'd like that to happen, but let's be realistic. They're going to get rid of her.
I know, but I think maybe with Jared gone, I've heard a lot of rumors about she's a really good social player. So we're really going to see what happens now that Jared's gone. She's on her own, clean slate.
I just think here's my thing. I think Suri would be good playing a social game where she can play alone from the start, and not now you're already with people that are situated into certain groups and certain relationships. Suri's good at forming relationships with brand new people. That's the whole reason why Survivor's so good to her, because even on returnee seasons, not everybody knows each other, and she can still build and form those new relationships.
I do want to say this.
Go for it. Go for it. Do it.
Depending on how long it takes to get Jared and Cameron back into the house, I think that Suri would probably pick someone to spill the beans to in order to secure her safety moving forward, whether it were Felicia or Blue or Mimi.
I don't think Suri's a big Blue fan.
I know,
she's got to do something to get her hooks into someone.
Yeah.
But you didn't see Blue crying when Jared left, and you didn't see Suri hugging her and Suri just hugging after. So I wonder, how many hours is it going to take for Cameron and Jared to get back into that house? And is Suri going to spill any beans before the next HOH, or is she going to hold that to her? Because if she spills beans and Jared walks back into that house, but I do think
Suri's
that would secure her spot with someone moving forward.
Suri's smart. I think she's going to use this week just to build those relationships and to build those bonds. It's just going to be more difficult than in other games she's played, because those other ones she can start from the beginning alone and solo.
Well, can I ask, and Charles, maybe let me hear your thoughts on this. What does Suri revealing that Jared was her son, how does that play out? Do you have an opinion on, does that help her? Does it hurt her? I know Richard has an opinion, so we'll go to him next. But
before he falls
I had that thought in my mind. I was like, do you just never tell anybody because you're like, oh, I got to have an advantage in the game, and so that would make other people jealous? Or does that build trust?
Yeah, I'm kind of in between, but I'm going to hedge on the side and agree with Sarah on that one. I think if she's able to, again, talk to, at this point, probably Miss Felicia is the only logical opportunity for that, to kind of get her back on her side, to really say, you know what, this is a secret that I've had. I know Jared refers to you as his mom, but oh, here we go. Now, I think that'll kind of hurt Miss Felicia, but with her personality, I think that'll be the one thing that's like, oh my gosh, Sari just told me, and I'm the only one that knows, and I'm the first one that she told. That would 100% get her trust. Now, telling somebody like, I also think Corey could be a good option, since they have, the relative sort of thing. But other than that, I think telling it to someone else really wouldn't do much, and may end up hurting her, because then everybody would start to talk a little bit. But the only person that I think she would truly benefit from doing that and getting back on her side would be Miss Felicia, for sure.
Richard?
I just think she needs to be caught, careful. I totally agree with what Charles said, because I think what you need to worry about is just in case she gets the Frankie Grande treatment. If you reveal too late into the game that you're related to somebody, especially since this time it's like someone that's in the house and has been in the house, now you're risking people to go, why did it take you this long? Why now? Why not 3 weeks ago? Right? So I just think if you tell the wrong person, if you tell Matt and Jack, I think that's going to be their first reaction. Why didn't you tell us earlier? Why did it take this long? Right. And that'll only hurt in the long run. If you think back to 16, Frankie telling people that he's Ariana Grande's brother was a huge part of his eviction, and the distrust that was, broken there between himself and his alliance members. So you have to be careful for that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah. Good points all around. Well, man, we went pretty long on just one episode. We didn't even talk about the week. So that's just Charles, you got some catching up to do. You got a good episode to catch up on. So
I can't wait. I'm gonna try to do it.
We just spoiled all of it.
That's all right. That's how that's
spoil.
how I watch every episode, because the podcast spoil everything for me anyway. So welcome to the live feeder life. But no, that's going to do it for this recap of week 8 or 9 or 10. I don't remember where we're at, but we will be back next week recapping a zombie week in the Big Brother house, the Scary Verse. So I'm very much looking forward to what is going to happen this week. What does the format look like? Who's going to actually go home? And how does it all shake out? And we'll be back here next Thursday. But until then, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe everywhere where you find podcasts and our YouTube channel. And we'll be back real soon. Thanks, everyone.